Function with Purpose podcast. All things health, wellness, fitness, and education through the physical therapy perspective. I am Dr. Amy Bullock, owner and founder of Fortress Physical Therapy. Fortress PT is here to serve the Charlotte metro area by highlighting the importance of how and why physical therapy should be a part of your health and wellness lifestyle. Here we go. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 4 of the Function with Purpose podcast. Pack your protein, people! All right. Yes, Dr. Amy here. Hopefully you're woken up by that. Pack your protein. Again, this topic is going to stem off my winter trip at Disney and what I learned about this too. And just some little tips for when you travel, right? To pack your protein. It is so important to have protein sources at your fingertips. Because when we travel, what do we see around us? All of the carbs, all of the fats, minimal protein sources. Right? You think about that? Right? We're at the airport. What do they have at the airport? Potato chips. All these man-made things, right? There's not really a lot of access to fruit, which is your better carbs. Obviously, all the fast food restaurants, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Wendy's, right? But very minimal access to protein. So, my recent bout to Disney, back in December. Oh yeah, I packed my own food. So if you listen to the previous episode, I kind of talk about like the warm-up routine and exercise that I would do every day, actually 5 out of the 7 days, to get some type of movement and resistance in, on top of the 20,000 steps that we would walk every day, to the flip side of packing snacks, packing specifically protein sources. So every day at Disney, you're allowed bringing your own snacks in there. So that's cool. Anytime you get a chance, always pack snacks with you. Anytime you're traveling, specifically protein source snacks. So protein is the building block of maintaining muscle mass and even growing muscles. Now, this isn't just the muscles that we see, right? Biceps, triceps, abs, quad muscles, calf muscles. I'm even talking about internally, our heart, our intestine, right? Because protein is the building block. Protein is made up of amino acids. Amino acids are in protein that we eat. If you're unfamiliar with protein, think of protein, any type of meat source or a little bit of dairy, right? Eggs are filled with protein. Yogurt. Any type of fish. Steak. Chicken. Pork. That's primarily like the main sources. And of course we have some synthetic or man-made one that are whey-based or casein based. And cottage cheese is a good one too. Very important that one thing when traveling is upon us, that we really need to focus on protein, because the carbs and fats are there. Like, they are totally there. They're immediately at our access, right? And those are important macronutrients too, but you need to focus on packing your own protein sources with you, because you can travel with food. So when I went to Disney, here's some examples that protein sources I brought with me. Exception of the first one. I'll say that last. So the single-serve tuna packets, I'm not sponsored, but like those Star-Kissed ones that are different flavors. I like the herb and garlic. Then they have sweet and pepper or whatever. Sweet and spicy. I think that's what it's called. And then they have like buffalo, hot buffalo flavor. So those are fantastic sources. So one packet of those is about 15 grams of protein. So guess what Amy had pretty much every day at lunch? 2 of those, 30 grams of protein. Look at that, right? Fantastic. If you're not a tuna lover, I'm sorry, but it's good for you. Maybe try the different flavors instead of the actual like canned tuna, which can be a little bit overbearing. So that's definitely one thing that I vouch for taking with me, especially when I travel. Packs of tuna, and they're cheap. They're like $1, $1.50. So if you can at least eat 2 of those, on top of a well-balanced dinner or, a breakfast of packed protein, do it. Obviously, another, I think, protein source that a lot of you guys may be familiar with is whey protein single serves. So the powder, the whey protein powder, specifically the single serves, because they're in their own individual packets, right? It has the appropriate serving in it. Instead of carrying like that little tub with you, the whey protein tub or casein. Another protein source is collagen protein. So that's going to be a little bit more what we call cleaner, right? Collagen is actually made up of amino acids, and amino acids makes up muscle, i.e. it's protein, right? So collagen, specifically protein, it's going to be a little bit less in protein, grams of protein. While whey protein is going to have a little bit more, especially whey protein isolate is going to be a little bit more of a blended whey protein that can be easily digestible as well as collagen. But I think the single serve packets are great. Now, if you do have the capability to take like the tub of whey, the 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds of the tub, take it in. If you're driving somewhere, pack that whey protein or collagen, whatever. Take the actual tub with you if you have room in your car. But when you're traveling on an airplane, the single serve packets work great. I think another thing too to pack, which some people might be leery about, the single serve like Greek yogurts or proteins. There was a recent protein yogurt that I found. It's called Ratio yogurt. Again, not sponsored by these people, but Ratio is actually a whey-based protein yogurt, and it's 25 grams per individual yogurt. Oh my gosh, amazing. And it tastes really good. So I bought a couple of those for the road trip down in the car. I think I brought like 3 or 4 of those, and I'm cool with it kind of being eaten a little bit warm. So that's another cool thing to pack with you. And then if you're able to have a cooler with you, the single serve yogurts are great. And then lastly, so those are things that I kind of packed for Disney on our road trip. And then while I was at Disney, like it was straight up the tuna packets, some nuts and seeds, and then the collagen protein single serves. Another thing that I have done in the past, bringing down pre-cooked chicken breast. Like I actually physically cooked chicken breast in the air fryer or baked it. And then I would put like 6 ounces in Ziploc baggies. So it was already pre-measured, and I took those baggies with me, right? Because once the chicken's cooked, you can eat that cold. So that's another thing that you can totally do. And if you're like, no, I'm not bringing pre-cooked chicken down, it's going to get weird, and I don't want to bring a cooler. I don't have access to a cooler, so I can't bring a lot of that pre-cooked chicken down. Well, guess what? Hit up a grocery store as soon as you get to your destination and get pre-cooked chicken or pre-cooked meat, because most likely you probably have access to your microwave if you wanted to heat it up. So I've done that in the past, especially when I was at a CrossFit competition. And then our hotel was next to a Whole Foods, so I was able to get chicken already cooked immediately. So, protein is the queen or king. Protein is important for traveling. So those are some easy tips to help you when you travel. And protein's the macro that we need to focus on all the time. It maintains our muscle, not only externally that we can kind of see based on our physique, but also internally, because our intestines are made up of muscle, right? Our heart is made of muscle. Our throat, our tongue, everything is basically an amino acid, which are the building blocks of muscle, i.e. protein. So pre-cooked chicken, the single-serve tuna packets, the single-serve whey, collagen, or casein protein packets, single-serve yogurts, great. And some nuts and seeds, they have a little bit of protein in there as well. So next time you travel, pack your protein. That's a wrap for today's episode, Function with Purpose podcast. For more information on this episode, please check out the show notes within your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, or drop your comments and questions below. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thanks for the listen. Pursuit, precision, purpose.